Thank you.
Okay, Russell, please.
Right, afternoon everyone. So I'm submitting on the development contributions policy, which I think is a little bit out of order, but just so you know.
That's
submitting right. On behalf, so my name's Russell Benge. I'm with consultancy Davis Ogilvy, and we're submitting on behalf of KB Contracting and Quarries Limited on the development contributions policy. We're generally happy with the contributions policy proposed. It's just two key points. The first one is the changing from the current land in lieu of cash development contributions to a private developer agreement or a sale and purchase agreement. That makes sense as long as the assessment criteria is the same as a result of the change in policy. So it's not so much how the money is distributed, not worried about that. It's more that the assessment criteria stays the same. The second one was a sort of a general case around the proposed increase in development contribution policy, particularly regarding the Belfast area or North Catchment, where the charges are set to rise from just over $29,000 per household unit equivalent to $37,000 per Huey. And I guess this submission relates specifically to the Oakbridge development area, which is being developed by KB Contracting. And we understand the rationale for the increase, which is based on the population projection growth through Stats New Zealand, which currently indicate a decline in population from the previous one in 2021, and it brings it more in line with the 2016 projection growths. However, we feel there's a strong case for maintaining the current charges of $29,000, particularly if proposed plan change 14 is made operative in its current form. Obviously, it could change, but that plan change, which I'm sure you know, will allow for a permitted activity for 3 units to be developed on site. So effectively, in new developments, it could create a significant increased density and growth within that catchment, probably more so than existing developed areas because they're empty sections rather than sections with houses already constructed on them. And additionally, this substantial increase in development contributions will ultimately be pushed on to the end purchaser, which won't go any way of helping housing affordability in the Canterbury region. So those are the two key points for the submission. So,
Yep, Andre. Yep.
Thank you. Just what some of the other changes are around catchment areas.
Yeah.
So DCs are paid towards, in some cases, whether it's neighbourhood parks or community infrastructure. And some argue there's an expectation that some of those things should have to be built in the area itself where the payment's being made.
Yes.
Do you have any view on that and what you hear?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, and I guess the future changes are making it more even larger around the city. I think it does vary. A new development, like a greenfield development, you're probably going to get those facilities put in on site, and that's, I suppose, where the current cash in lieu of, or land in lieu of cash, sort of kicks in because they can make it. So the development policy, contributions, I suppose, it bringing it to a smaller scale on a smaller basis, depending on what the development is, does make sense to a certain extent, but then people use parks all round, so I think there's a combination of both needed. But I think when you're looking at a greenfield development area of a few thousand lots, there's potential for a lot more density to happen inside of that because it hasn't been built yet, as opposed to the existing Belfast where there's houses, and any intensification of housing in existing areas will take a lot more time. It'll potentially take a lot longer than an empty section that's for sale.
Nice one, thank you.
Yeah. Mark, please.
Thank you.
Nice to see you there, Russell.
Yeah, you too, mate.
For those who don't know, Russell's one of my graduates from Otago back in the day, so we go way back.
Yes.
There we go.
Yeah.
Hey, so would I be reading that right, that you're basically saying you'd prefer the DC level to stay down at close to that 29-odd thousand?
Yes, yeah. And look, DCs have to, I mean, they're reflective of the cost of the infrastructure that's needed. I guess the difference here is it goes up and down with projected population growth that, you know, are obviously subject to all sorts of variables. And in a new area where it's greenfield, it's probably more likely to have more densification in there. So more potential new lots in that area to have more of the development contributions for the overall funding.
Could be something for us to consider when we have that policy come back for decision. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you very much, Russell. I'm sorry we kept you waiting, but I know we're on time, but you were here early.
Yeah.
So,
No, that's okay.
Thanks for coming
Excellent. Thanks very much.